Hey, and thank you all for being here, or as I like to say on my podcast, hey there, risers and thrivers. So just to give you all a little bit of background about myself, my name is Janine, and I am the creator and host of the podcast On the Up and Up, which was created to encourage critical conversations, amplify the untold stories and achievements of the underrepresented and underestimated, and encourage visionaries to take the next steps into entrepreneurship. And normally, like I said, I'm usually doing these episodes in a recording studio. And when I spoke to Cephas about this, I was honestly like, oh yeah, we'll just do a recording, right? And he's like, no, I mean, what are you talking about? We're going to do the live thing. We're going to make this an experience. And I was like, no, I don't know about that. So it really means a lot to me that all of you are here for this conversation and also for the after event. So thank you all for being here. Really appreciate it, especially on this Tuesday afternoon. And also one thing I'd like to say as well is a huge thank you to Link & Co. for hosting us here. It's a beautiful spot, very aesthetically pleasing, so grab all your Insta shots. Also, I want to say a huge shout out to my friends at Vern for supporting with all the marketing assets and helping with everything so far, even the rebrand for the podcast. And then also a huge shout out to Labar. You'll see afterwards what they've put together, but it's really dope. So stay around for that. And now I'm excited to get to the focus of this evening. So joining me is the phenomenal founder that has infected Berliners, Müncheners, and New Yorkers with FOMO, the fear of missing out, since April 2023, Cephas. I'm super excited to have you here with me, and I've got to gas him up a little bit more because because he has quite an interesting journey, right? So Cephas, he studied mechanical engineering and then IT, and then somehow he networked his way into the VC world, where he stayed for a year before he started his own company, which was Newcon at the time. And with Newcon, it was incredibly impressive, right? So he raised angel investments from Lightspeed and Sequoia Scouts, Hustle Fund, and also the former VP of SoundCloud, among other people. And then over the years, he's also been featured in Grundescena, TechCrunch, Sifted, Startup Insider. So he's really a remarkable person who I think likes to be quite humble about his achievements, and he doesn't usually want to boast too much about it, but means a lot that you're here. And Cephas, we're getting to the first question of the podcast.
Jesus.
Is there anything you'd like to say before that?
First of all, I'd like to say thank you. Thank you for the invite to the podcast. So I don't know, it's the second season.
Yeah.
And didn't get a request for the first season. So, wow. So, okay. And say, what's up? Say, hey, I want to prep. I want to get this first done. And then when I'm ready, then it's your time. So she managed it quite well. And kind of now it's like kind of the finale of the second season. So super happy to be here. And therefore I want to say thank you.
Thank you too. Amazing. So the first thing I wanted to kick this conversation off with is, Cephas, obviously you're pretty prominent within the Berlin tech scene. And with that, oftentimes people usually will have an impression of who they think they're meeting. So my first question to you is, what are 3 things that you would say about yourself that would surprise other people?
Good question. I guess they're surprising because I'm not telling anyone. So, but one thing that only my closest friends know is, so as a ritual, I read a lot. So every morning I have 2 fantasy books, and right now one science fiction book that I'm reading every morning. So I take half an hour time reading the books, going to this kind of different kind of world, laughing. I was looking forward when I'm waking up. Nice, I can read one book. And then I start my day with a smile. So that's definitely one thing most people don't know. What I'm hearing more and more often now, because of FOMO and because of Insta, people think like, hey, I'm attending every event. Yes, I'm probably attending more events than the usual person. But also, sometimes I don't. So Sundays, usually, I don't see anyone. So Sundays are often at least every second Sunday, to lie in my bed and read the whole day and just do nothing except cleaning a bit my apartment. Third thing, that my dream was to become a football star. And of course, that the knee injury, and that was stop of everything.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I'm sorry about that.
I know.
Well, you're already successful in this, so we're glad. Uh, exactly.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
And what I also wanted to kind of get to now is with your first venture, I remember saying to you in a separate conversation, you were kind of known as like the golden child in the entrepreneurial space, especially within the Afro-German community. Everyone was like, Cephas, Cephas, Cephas. Then you kind of got a little bit quiet, and then boom, you came out with FOMO. So my question to you is, why FOMO, and what was the motivation for creating it?
How can I keep it brief? So when I started my first venture in Yukon, most of my investment came from New York, or came from the States. And that's why the last 2022, 2023, I spent a lot of time in New York, kind of building up my network, finding new investors, connecting with other founders, and kind of being in the ecosystem. And one challenge was always kind of finding the good events, finding good opportunities. New York is so massive. And also you want to be kind of in the scene. New York is cool, you have music, you have art, you have fashion. But if you don't know, you don't know. And that was kind of something I struggled with because I really want to be in and kind of trying to do my network into and kind of meeting other people. But it was difficult. And one of my friends, he started a newsletter about techno clubs in New York. So which are the coolest techno parties in New York? And kind of liked it. So he called it New York What's Pumping. So, solid name. At the same time, I had also a newsletter about conferences. So because it's my first venture, we showcased the best conferences worldwide on a monthly basis. So when I was back in Berlin, because I've been on VC side, I've been on the founder side, lucky, I had access to this events, I had access to the to all the dinners and parties, and my friends invited me, hey, you're not relevant for our fund, but because I know you, come by. And then I realized through discussions that my friends had the same issue in Berlin and I had in New York, so they didn't know where to go, didn't know what are the coolest events, especially in startup VC scene, because often events are private. And I was super interested regarding the music, art, fashion scene, I want to learn more about it. So I thought, hey, why not just start a newsletter, kind of to solve this problem and showcase literally kind of an insight into my calendar, what I'm up to this week. And I remember I was kind of talking with a few friends, like, hey, what should be the name of the newsletter? At the beginning, I had something with kebab, like getting a kebab after clubbing. It was a bit long. But one of my friends, she would love it that I'm saying her name right now, Lena Bödecker. So sending her a few ideas, and she came back with 6 names. And one name was FOMO. And I knew, that's it. That's the name. Choose the name the same day, launched the newsletter the same day. And then kind of showcasing business and tech events. But because, I don't know why, but because of my interest, I wanted to kind of break up the barriers between the business and tech world to make this more accessible to the music, art, fashion, culture. Because Berlin has so much to give. We are right now in Mitte, and there's so many others, let's say tech bros and tech sis in Mitte that never come out. And I want to kind of break this up. And that was the start. And then it suddenly, yeah.
But that's the thing, though. You didn't actually just create a newsletter, right? Because you kicked off in April, and then what was it, June or July? All of a sudden, there was the FOMO boat party. And I remember, like, we were talking about it, and I was so, like, for me, thinking to myself, how the heck would I organize a boat party? I was so daunted by the thought of it. And then all of a sudden, you're like, boat's done. This is done. So my question is, like, how did you even get that stuff started? Because it's not just a newsletter, right? There's more to it. You have had the summer party. You've had your secret Santas. How do you get those kind of things started? Because it's also really capital intensive.
Yeah. I'm hustling. But to be real, like we talked about it a couple of days ago, something like I hate when listening to podcasts or panels if people don't share kind of what's the secret ingredients behind it and kind
That's
of
why I'm asking.
not being kind of real. I think I saw it somewhere on Insta and someone had the boat party. So fuck. I was not invited, so I was like, wow. I was like, okay, I want to have my own boat party. Yes, it does. It does. You know, like, that's my kind of going abroad kind of a bit. People ask me, why do you put events on the newsletter that are full? or that are not even public. I said, you know what's worse to not know? To like not being invited is not knowing that it's happening. So if you don't like it's not, you know it's not happening, you see the next day on Instagram, fuck, how did you not know? So rather you know that's happening, maybe you can get your way in, but if not, it's okay. But you know it's happening. I find for me personally it's worse if I don't know it's happening. That's maybe also FOMO. But back to the boat. I saw like a boat party on Instagram. I said, hey, I want to do my own boat party. And then if I do it really fancy, so I looked up, found this amazing boat. The price was for 4 hours, 2.5K. So normally it was a bit more than 3K, but I said, hey, I'm going to pay you in cash. Can we make it a bit cheaper? I said, yeah, sure. All right. But there's no black marketing. No. Just pay you in cash directly. All good. But I didn't have money. So raised my first startup, raised the money. But at this time, most of the money was gone, or all of the money was gone. So I was like, okay, where to get the money from? Ask you guess. So I put write a nice Luma page, and then I just charge for $49. So it's okay if I get 50 people, and I'll pay €50. That covers the cost of the boat.
But you knew 50 people to invite. I was like, legit question.
I would say most people would struggle with that. The benefit is if you write a newsletter, which over 1,000 people are reading, it's a bit easier to reach those people. And I tested. So I tested, hey, we're going to do like a launch party. If you want to sign up beforehand, like 2-3 months earlier. And over 300 people sign up to be on a wait list. So it's like, okay, that's a good indicator. Hey, they're interested to be part of the FOMO party. Even most people didn't know they knew the newsletter, but we never did an event beforehand. But summer boat party always works. I think always works. So we got 2.5K, and then I knew a founder who, let's say, quite successful. Yeah, if you look at LinkedIn setting, Jonathan, and I approached him, said, hey, we're getting founders, and founders need to look for office spaces. You don't want to kind of sponsor this event? And I was like, 3K? So, no, I can pay you a 1K. So yeah, thank you. And I was like, nice. That's how it works. So I got 1K, which covered the food. So okay, we got the boat, we got food, drinks was a second challenge. A friend of mine, he works for a drink company. So I told him, hey, I'm doing this launch party. We have a lot of readers. We're inviting some influencers. I didn't know any influencer. But I said, hey, that's sick. And they were not from Berlin. They were from Paderborn. So, wow, yeah, we need more branding in Berlin. I can pitch to my boss. Jesus, how much alcohol I got. I still have alcohol left. And they gave it me all for free. I said, wow, lucky me. So I got the drinks covered. I got the food covered. Food, €1,000 to cover for 50 people. Definitely not enough. Mm-hmm. So again, hustling. So what I thought, I looked up different kind of catering companies, too expensive. So what did I do? Who's the best caterer that I know? My mother. Hey. Mm-hmm. So I flew her in from London. So we went shopping together, and we prepped. And we prepped the food together.
And you got it done.
So Mom. Yeah. But I couldn't do it alone. My mom was helpful. A lot of my friends come early. We prep the food and organize amazing brunch table. And that's how everything worked out. And then I said, hey, how can we make it exciting? We had a dress code or dress code all in white. I please asked 2 musicians to come over and play live. I said, hey, do you have money? He said, no budget, but we have amazing content. This will be big, and then next time they will come, I will pay you. But they get amazing content off of it. It's a boat, everyone was in white, we have videographs, photograph, so they get great content out of it. So we had 2 musicians, a DJ that just offered to be there and get the content, and then the rest was history.
Yeah, but that's the thing that I find really admirable and impressive about you, because 1, you're audacious, but 2, you are in my opinion, when people talk about founder market fit in the startup ecosystem, you are the perfect person to be running such kind of a newsletter. And actually, I was talking to someone not so long ago who had mentioned you have all the connections. Every event that you throw, it's successful. You know, people are showing up for it. People are excited for it. And you seem to have found a specific niche within it. And one of the things that I also wanted to highlight is you are at 6.5K newsletter subscribers now, right?
In Berlin.
Just in Berlin, which is incredibly impressive, because I did a little bit of digging and I was looking at Startup Insider, for example. They've got 25K. So you're already around 25% of what they've already amassed, and that's probably taken a couple of years for them to do, right? So
and Germany-wide as well.
Yeah. You just had to stick that.
Let's be clear with the facts here.
Exactly. So that's why I think it's a true testament to you being the perfect person to be running FOMO. And so one of my questions around that is, how did you figure out the niche or the specific target audience? Because to me, it sounded like you just picked something and then you just kind of ran with it and naturally it developed. Or was it really something that you were creating for your friends in the beginning?
A good founder mentioned once to me, one of the best way to solve a problem is solve your own problem. You know what I sometimes do? Like, friends ask me, like, what do you do in the weekend? Good question. I go to my own fucking newsletter to check what's happening this week. So if you use your own product,
yeah,
there are probably some others that are the same as you using the product as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, just solving my own problems, solving problems of the people that I know that are around me that I know that I can relate to.
Yeah.
That's kind of the, let's say, the founder answer.
Fair. And speaking of your own newsletter, though, South Africa, because FOMO is not just a Berlin thing. It went to New York. It's been in Munich, but you also did South Africa, and there was a reason why you also picked South Africa. Could you unpack that a little bit for everyone else?
Yeah, but I'm curious, like, who from this crowd was in South Africa, was in Cape Town? Okay, that's like, let's say that's 5%, maybe less. Is it 5%? I don't know. But you can see, like, hey, around 5%, put the hands up. And again, you put yourself in the shoes of others. I knew all my friends, all my colleagues are planning to go to Cape Town. I said, well, okay, so many going to Cape Town. It's already started last year. So I put it in a newsletter, like, literally as a test. Hey, it's a FOMO Cape Town WhatsApp group. If you go to Cape Town, January, February, that was December. Yeah, it was beginning of December. If you go to Cape Town, January, February, join this WhatsApp group. After 2 weeks, we had 200 members in this WhatsApp group from 4K. This is like 5%. So what the hell? 5% of the people in Berlin that are reading the newsletter, probably even more, are going January, February to Cape Town. So I thought, hey, if they all go to Cape Town, I need to follow. Bit expensive, but hey, scrapped my money together and followed. So because there were so many people following the subscriber or following the newsletter going to Cape Town that decided to follow. And then when I was there, I realized how highly concentrated Cape Town is. You only have your few famous bars, your few famous restaurants. If someone's doing a party, everyone is there. And the great thing about that is, like, you have super late-stage founders, investors, exits, angels. And I thought, okay, I really want to meet them all. So if they connect with them, they knew about me, they knew about the newsletter, they're going back, and I'm sharing with their friends. So I thought, okay, what is the best way to connect with people? What is the best way, especially to reach out to investors and angels and later-stage founders and so on? By running your own dinner. By doing a kind of exclusive dinner, you always have a reason to invite someone. You can always say, hey, I'm doing this dinner, 12 people only. Do you want to come over? So people feel like, hi, wow, you're asking me? Yeah, sure, I'm in. And people are coming. And yeah, it literally was hilarious, but it was great. Met amazing people. One, for example, like offered then join the dinner and say, hey, love what you're doing. I have my villa, massive villa, Jesus. If you want to do something on the villa, you just let me know. And they said, hell yeah. So we talked to him, I'm gone in the next 2 weeks. So we have 3-4 days. Yeah, I can make it work. So we have 3 days and then organize kind of a pizza and wine gathering. Villa, sun, kind
Within 3 days you organized that?
Yeah. You know what's helpful is, again, literally I was running like a, that's the first time I felt like a I'm running like an agency because I'm running along the street like with literally. I had a feeling I had 2 phones. I just had 1 phone, but calling the DJ, calling the photographer, calling the location, having like, who's cleaning.
How did you find all of these people and resources while you were in South Africa? Because it's not even like you live in South Africa.
You know what?
Yeah.
Yeah, came to the concept, but like for example, like funny story. How did I find a DJ? So the day before, like a couple of days before, I was doing like a road racing trip, Rennrad. Okay. There's no English word for Rennrad. But road racing with a bike, fast bike. So I borrowed it at the store, I returned it, and okay, can I say it this way? Yeah. The people that were kind of leading the store, were managing the store, they were of color. And I said, hey, so I'm doing this event the next days, you might know a DJ. I go, hey bro, I can help you, like, what do you need? So well, can I trust you? He's like, can you pay me? I said, yes, I can pay you. So they were very good. So they organized me everything.
Oh, wow.
So they organized me a DJ, and then I met another person at a bar who's like, I know some people that are doing catering. So can you get me the number? Like, yeah, mate, just pay me. I manage everything. I'm quite sure he took like 30% margin, but hey.
Got it done. So that's just talking to people and asking for help or asking for no. The introvert in me. Ooh. I would have never been able to.
But if you have a reason,
yeah,
you are forced to ask. If you don't know another way to go, like at least for me, like okay, I need to ask. I wouldn't just like if I wouldn't do an event, I wouldn't just go, hey, do you know a DJ? But I need a DJ in 3 days. Do you know anyone? So that was helpful. Yeah.
But I think the thing that keeps coming into my mind is still the why. Like, why do you do all of these things? Because each event is stressful to organize. You put yourself in the situation where within 3 days you have to get people. Like you said, oh, I want to have a boat party because I wasn't invited to a boat party, so I'm going to somehow throw one. And then, I mean, for me, if I was to look at those kind of things, talking from my perspective, right, and I look up a boat and it tells me it's $3,000, I'm like, well, guess we're not going on a boat this summer. Like, that would have been me. So that's why my question to you is, like, what is your why for all of this? What drives you to do this?
Why are you doing this podcast?
Oh. Am I being introvert or are you being introvert? For me, do I actually have to answer this question?
Yes, please.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. I think for me, it comes from a point of, one, I genuinely enjoy doing it, right? So it came out of my research. I talked to really fantastic people during that time. And I was like, wow, they have such cool stories. I need to get it out there. And then I've always had this drive to execute on something on my own, to see if I could actually grow something, learn. And so the podcast for me was that perfect outlet for it, especially because in other areas of my life, I felt stifled. So those would be my 2 core reasons why I started the podcast. So back to you.
I think like, the first part, super helpful. You're enjoying it. You're enjoying the process of doing like a podcast. I don't know why. It's been like since I'm young, I enjoy bringing people together. I enjoy the feeling if people meet the next year or weeks after, and I know I brought them together. And I always been like that. I had friends in different kind of circles, different kind of cultural or educational background, and I always want to bring them together. So since I was young, with 16, 17, I bought a shop for my mom and organized parties. And then in Berlin and Copenhagen, I organized brunches. So it's just like extension out of it. And then I did something larger, again, maybe overkill, for my 30th birthday, I invited like 25 people to Italy. And people are still texting me afterwards like, hey, this trip was the highlight of my year. This makes me so happy and so proud. They said, well, I want to do more of it. And if people say, hey, your event that I attended last year or this year was the best event, just makes me happy. Okay. And enjoying it. But also, to be honest, sometimes super stressful. And I often ask myself, like, why the fuck I'm doing this? Yeah. And especially at the time, right now it's nice, you're in the center, everyone's enjoying it, yes. But after the event, when everyone's gone, you're the one that's cleaning up. Mm-hmm. You're the last one.
Yeah, don't even get me started. I'm trying to move these things around.
Exactly. Everyone's gone, everyone's smiling. No one looks back to you like, hey, How are you? Like, no, I was fun, enjoying. So when you're like, why am I doing this? I'm just enjoying it.
Fair. Okay.
And I accept that it's also okay then at the end of the event to be alone. Yeah.
And another thing though within that realm of questions, because obviously a part of this whole conversation we're having is also to help others who are trying to build a community and grow, and you've done a phenomenal job of that. So maybe the first question is, what was one of the biggest mistakes you'd say you've made in the beginning when you were growing this? Because we talked about the glam. I mean, you put these events together, you got it done, but what was something where you're like, oh God, I will never do that again?
You know, one mistake I still do, and there's no excuse for it. My excuse is just time, is not over-communicating. So what does it mean? So people apply, and you often expect, for us in the meantime we have more people applying than seats available. So of course you send amazing messages to the people that you accept. Hey, you're in, you made a cut, I'm really looking forward to it. But to the people that didn't make it, no message at all. Just like sometimes we decline, sometimes even not. And that's something I definitely don't want to do again.
Have you experienced backlash from doing that?
No backlash, but when I talk with you, like a few people of course feel disappointed.
Okay.
And you want to make everyone happy, but that's not possible. But what is possible, where you need to put the time into it, is to over-communicate. Why didn't you make it? Or say you're sorry, or like say, hey, you can't make it, but you're on a wait list. Over and over-communicate. But this takes time. You need to write, you need to practice, you need to text more. Yeah, and didn't have the time, or didn't put it in focus. So that's something I definitely want to do better. Other than that, honestly, so far, quite lucky. Yeah.
So let's keep riding this luck boat then.
Okay.
So, because for some of us, aka me, trying to grow this podcast, trying to grow the Instagram following and everything, honestly, it's a challenge. It's exhausting. It's like being a one-woman show. It's a lot. And there's a few other people in the room. I saw some of y'all nodding your heads as well, who are also trying to grow their businesses. So what would you say has been or has really helped you to really grow your audience and to kick things off the ground at full speed? Because of course you've got your events and everything, but we're still talking about the 6.5K that you amassed, right? Which is not just only events.
Again, this is luck, sometimes timing, which is definitely part of it, but that's not a good answer. What else is there? Over deliver. If you can, always over deliver. So starting with the events, starting with the newsletter. I don't know who's in the WhatsApp group. Hell, Jesus, this takes time. Texting everyone, being nice, even asking random questions. Girl, brah, like.
I saw that last message you said where you were like, you could read before you ask me.
Yeah, my WhatsApp right now is full. But I still get consistent feedback, and people come back to me, hey, I put your WhatsApp group on mute, but that's the only, I have all my WhatsApp group on mute, but that's the only WhatsApp group I'm going back and back again and again and reading it. And I see and I appreciate the value that they're putting into it. So.
And did you have like people shout out your newsletter in the beginning, or what was like the initial things that really kicked it off the ground?
Yes, so what kicked it off? To be tactical. Again, hustle, be sometimes shameless. And it could be even more shameless. There's some amazing founders that are super, super shameless. And sometimes you need to be like this in the beginning. So what I did in the beginning, I was posting the newsletter in every, can I say it, fucking WhatsApp group that I'm part of. Every week. Hey, here's another here's another edition for FOMO, and then the week again. And after 6-7 weeks, people say, yes, Cephas, can you please stop? I think we all subscribed. We're good. You can go to the next one. So yeah, shameless, and then asking friends, colleagues say, hey, please post it on LinkedIn. So please do like a bit shorter. So in the beginning, like I asked us friends with bigger audience, share it on LinkedIn. Just do like outreach. So prep like a template, a copy, and of course people forget. Like they have other things, but I text again. Here reminder. Can you please show that? Hey, I like you as well. And shameless, being consistent regarding this. Partnerships. So the other newsletters, the other podcasters work together. So I was like, hey, let's do like a shout out. I do a shout out for you and you do a shout out for me. And sometimes I get more followers and sometimes you get more followers. Which is often the case, they got more followers. But hey.
Humble.
But I still get new followers, so that's helpful. So work with others, post in our groups. LinkedIn, super helpful. Instagram, I'm trying to do more Instagram now. But LinkedIn, pushing every week. So every week I get, again, met a few people that found it today or the last days were the newsletter about Instagram. This event about LinkedIn. Sorry, LinkedIn. So being consistent, I think that's the key as well.
Actually, I don't know if you want to share that story, but one of my favorite shameless stories of yours was when you were planning the art gallery walk. Okay,
what was shameless? So no, damn it, like
with the sign.
Okay. That was fun, honestly. So, it's a bit of context. So we did like last month was Berlin Gallery Weekend. So we said, hey, it's Gallery Weekend, and let's do like I call it VIP. It's not by VIP, so it's like branding. Let's do like a VIP curated art walk tour. So we met in Mitte in front of Lab Coffee. That was the place we wanted to meet. And I was meeting the founder 2 days before. And he was mentioned, like, hey, we're doing like an event with Hinge. He's big, yeah. There were a few people coming. So, okay. And then I was out and said, hey, maybe I should check out this place before I'm meeting everyone, I think, at 3 p.m. at the place. So going to Lab Coffee. Jesus, the Lab Coffee was crowded with people. So that big partnership with Hinge, free coffee, free drinks, free food. And I said, damn. And I said, oh yes. I said, okay, this can work. So I knew now, okay, 45 people coming in. Damn it, they need to see me. They need to find me. So I went like 10 minutes because of course everything's short notice or last minute. Run home, got a board, put down FOMO, big FOMO board, like Gallery Weekend. So went home back to Lab Coffee space, and then had like a big. You need to imagine like 200 people at the event, not for you, but then I see some guy holding his board with FOMO Gallery Weekend. And then people coming in, like we had like a group of 50 people, and asking the Hinge team and asking the Lab team, like, are we going to this event from FOMO Berlin? And they're like, what is FOMO? Like, what the fuck? This is our event. But it was interesting because like, hey, what is FOMO? They want to know more about it. And so suddenly I arrived, so, that's FOMO. And then lucky enough, we had a founder of CC coming in as well, joining the Gallery Week, and he, of course, some of the Hinge Lab know him, and asked him like, where are you going to? Like this FOMO Gallery Weekend, and then there got FOMO. So what? Like, how do we don't know about this? So now let's say we are in context, and everyone saw it. The people that I invited for the Gallery Weekend, they got free food, drinks, wine on Hinge and Lab Coffee's money. It was for everyone, so.
Yeah, but see, that's what I find so like my ego, man. I don't know if I would have had the audacity or, the cojones to go out there and be like, oh, let me just put an on the up and up podcast thing here in the middle. Like, and I think the moment someone from the like Hinge team or someone would have come and asked me about it, I'd be like, oh, no, this nothing. I don't know what you're talking about. So, but it also shows the growth, right? Because through that, you actually did quite more subscribers. You actually created new contacts through that. So it worked out really well. So I guess the biggest lesson here is put the ego aside from time to time and do what you got to do, right?
Yes, be sometimes shameless.
Yeah.
But yeah, of course you can. It's not like he knew. I was like, hey, I'm doing this event. Yeah. Yep. Do what you want. He probably didn't expect it that it would be like this case.
Yeah.
But
fair enough. But rounding it out so that we can get to the fun part with the food and the music and everything. What I wanted to also ask you is, obviously, you've got the fastest, most exciting newsletter fastest growing newsletter in Berlin.
That's what you're saying, but yeah, sure.
Yeah. I mean, if you disagree, sure.
No.
But you've got a really fast growing newsletter in Berlin. You're definitely affecting people with FOMO. So the real question is, what's next? Like, what is your vision for FOMO?
Can I ask you back as well?
You want to ask everyone else, maybe? Go for it.
Niels, can I ask you a question? Yeah. So, if you would have like kind of this fast-growing newsletter, podcast community, or like FOMO, you know about FOMO, you're following it. What would you do? What would you do kind of do as the next step?
I would try to scale it to make more business partnerships, also with creators or musicians, to get more culture. You know, that's more lifestyle. And that you have like a bigger brand at all. Just as a quick.
So we're hearing scale it. We heard concept store.
No. Platform.
Platform.
Create a platform. Okay.
Your own club as well.
Yeah. Retreat. Say that again, I'm sorry?
Retreat club.
Oh, create an own club for it. Membership club.
Yeah.
Okay.
International meetups.
International meetups.
Okay.
Trips.
Trips.
Yeah.
Wow, nice. You know, I thought like good at this. Like I was like, hey, I need to write this down. It's not good that this is recorded. No, Janine, what do you do?
For FOMO?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good question. I remember you brought us actually into like a focus group. You were like,
Oh,
this
yeah,
he tricked us all into going to a focus group. It was supposed to be like a co-working event, and then he made us all sit together. He's like, so what would you all do with FOMO now? So that's a good.
True.
You did, yeah. I see it. You can take it in multiple directions, right? Like I've seen some people with agency formats that have been really successful with that. And you do have the community, you do have the network. You could do something like that. Of course, that's not like a sexy business for people who are super excited about the startup ecosystem, but it's profitable, right? And if your thing is about connecting people, I think that's pretty cool because through that you could have different branches. But I'm throwing it back to you so we can round it out.
Yeah. I have a clear idea. But maybe to give a bit of context regarding agency and regarding newsletter. So I just got like an offer this morning. I can say like 1.5K, 2 posts on a newsletter, 1 LinkedIn post, and 1 WhatsApp. I can do this in 1 hour. 1.5K. Not even, like that's 10 minutes. They wrote the context for me. Agency, I got an offer to do like an angel dinner for 20, 30 people. And then budget is like 3 to 6K. Which like me, my time, investing, and the food, and the drinks all included. So, yes, agency can be profitable, but it's a lot of work. Seeing this right now, like kind of content game, reach, advertisement, is much leaner, it's much faster. But of course, you need to find a partner. But it's the same for agency. So, to answer your question, priority number 1 is increase the number of subscribers. So that's the focus for me. Using the summer to organize different kind of events and test, like, hey, what kind of events do work? What kind of events do I enjoy and do I like? And of course, building kind of the brand, powering up the brand, utilizing this for content to increase the number of subscribers of the newsletter. There's one, again, increasing number of subscribers. You can do this in one city, but you can also increase the number of subscribers, let's say easily or in a faster pace by launching other cities. Something that works in Berlin, we're seeing right now it works super well in Munich. You can do it in every key city in Berlin. And something that I realized again the last weeks, how powerful it is if you are able to reach the best, let's say, if you're able to reach a very particular niche or group in every key city. In Berlin or in general for FOMO, what is, of course, we're going into culture, we're going into art, we're going into music, we're going into fashion to make it exciting. And it might change. But for me in the moment, and that's where I'm coming from, is I want that FOMO in every key city worldwide is the best place to reach the business and tech people in the city. So,
I think that's a great note to end on.
Thanks.
And with that, I think we have time for 1 or 2 questions. Does anyone have a particular question that you want to ask?
Of course I do. So what is your secret sauce to finding all those private events? Is it just a network and you ask people to send them over, or how do you do that? How do you find them?
So how do you find them? What's your secret sauce?
What's the secret sauce? So it's around 60%, 60 to 70% desktop research. So following accounts, like every day I follow another Instagram account, LinkedIn accounts, newsletters. 25% is events that are kind of that people share with me, or kind of uploaded on our kind of event page. And kind of the last 15% are to friends, colleagues, connections, and I would say that's the secret sauce.
Do you automate the first part, or do you do it manually?
Say it again.
Do you automate
Automate it? Or?
No, like you can do a bit event by the meetups, but the really cool, interesting events are on Instagram or sometimes LinkedIn. They have their own website. You can't automate it. It's a bit secretive. But the key thing, like regarding secret sauce, is knowing the right people. If you know principals, analysts, event managers of different startups, of different kind of VCs, of different kind of community builders, and they trust you and they like you, they know all. They know in each particular vertical, they have the people and know that all events are happening. And if they share everything with you, and they've got 10 of them, you know most events is happening in the city.
Another question?
If the European Commission gave you 500, maybe 1 billion, and then
Okay, I wouldn't work anymore.
okay, we will be the outlet for startups and funding in VC for you.
Mm-hmm.
Would be it like a good idea? Because you have like a big community, the VC and blah blah blah, and you could kind of connect everyone and.
Yes, definitely.
So you're asking if you get a big investment.
Or
So I mean,
take the money.
Take it a run.
if they said, hey, we want to spur VC investment, diversity, really good people, tech in startups, and they said, hey, this is the best community. I mean, this would be nice.
Yeah, so the question is, if they gave you the money and then they were saying, like, you are the platform for all of it, that what would he be doing with it, essentially? Okay.
Kind of. Yeah, investing into. There are already few examples of, let's say, larger community builders, people that built a larger audience, either with the podcast or with the newsletter, and by doing so, have the power to reach the right people that are able to build their own fund. 20 VC. Harry Stabbing is a good example. There's Lenny's newsletter. He has his own fund. There are few, especially in the States and a bit UK, people that have built a big audience in a Berlin or in a tech and business scene. They have their own fund. So it might be something that will come up for FOMO.
Fair. All right. With that, we can do one last question. Okay. We'll go with you first. That's the first hand I saw,
I'll try to be quick.
Sorry, thanks. What are the top 3 events that we should definitely all go to?
Well, FOMO will do a boat party, so that's definitely number 1. Number two is unreleased. So if you don't know about this, they should pay me for this marketing. If you don't know about this, definitely worth to go. It's sick what's happening. It's like a music event. Google it. Great. Number 3, because I got it again yesterday, the feedback. Of course, I need podcast. Listen to it. Because we have many females here, and first of all, there's so many amazing events. So it's like difficult to say like, okay, which event is better than others. Just like these are the events at the top of my mind right now. The third is an event of Clicky Party.
True.
Yeah, it's a female community.
Yeah, from
Clicky.
Cynthia, right?
From Cynthia.
Yeah. Definitely. Look, everyone pulled out their phone.
Yeah.
Okay, one last question from the back, yeah.
I was just wondering, is it a one-man show? Do you have some support, a small team of freelancers, or do you do all by yourself?
Yeah, you're a one-man show or you got a team?
Let's say it this way. I could never do this alone. I'm the only person full-time on the payroll, yes. and then also getting freelancer supporters per event. But that's the current status.
Awesome. Well, thank you all for joining us. This really means a lot, and I hope you enjoyed the conversation. And follow FOMO Berlin if you're not. It would mean a lot if you also follow the podcast. And thank you all for joining, and enjoy the after party.